Hello, everyone. Good evening, trustees, Dr. Dale, and guests. My name is Anna Stewart. I am the Executive Staff Associate in the Office of the President and the Trustee Liaison. Thank you for joining us this evening. At this time, we will start the quarterly business meeting of the Penn West Council of Trustees with a roll call attendance, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Bellini.
Present.
Trustee DeFrank.
Here.
Trustee Dunbar.
Present.
Judith.
Present.
Present. Okay. We cannot hear you in here, so we will work on getting that fixed. Trustee Fant.
Present.
Trustee Jones.
Present.
Trustee Kennedy.
Present.
Trustee Logue.
Present.
Trustee Maggi.
Here. Present.
Trustee Nikolai.
Present.
I see you as well, but we cannot hear you in the room, so we're working to get that resolved. Trustee Oberlander.
Here.
Trustee Pape. Here. Trustee Pickett.
Present.
Trustee Robinson.
Here.
Very good.
Yeah.
Trustee Weaver.
Here.
Trustee Wheeler. Very good. We'll go over to Trustee DeFrank.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Very good. We have a quorum. Okay. At this time, I will ask Trustee Bellini to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And if you give me one moment, I will pull up an image up on our screen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. At this time, we will elect a temporary chair and secretary. May I have a nomination or a volunteer for temporary chair?
Nominate Danny Jones to be chair.
May I have a nomination or volunteer for temporary secretary?
A volunteer.
Thank you, Trustee Kennedy. Okay, Trustees Jones and Trustee Kennedy have been volunteered and nominated for the position of temporary chair and secretary. At this time, I will take a roll call vote. Trustee Bellini.
Yes.
Trustee DeFrank.
Yes.
Trustee Dunbar.
Yes. Yes.
Trustee Fant.
Yes.
Trustee Jones. Trustee Kennedy.
Abstain.
Trustee Logue.
Yes.
Trustee Maggi.
Yes.
Trustee Nikolai.
Yes.
Trustee Oberlander.
Yes.
Trustee Pape.
Yes.
Trustee Pickett.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Weaver.
Yes.
And Trustee Wheeler.
Yes.
Vote that carries. I will now turn the meeting over to temporary chair, Trustee Danny Jones.
I will entertain a motion to approve the Penn West Council of Trustees bylaws. So moved.
Second, Nikolai.
I will take a roll call vote. I will also make it known for the record that the bylaws as presented in the packet have been redlined, and the bylaws that have been approved are the bylaws that have been amended by the trustees and redlined.
Take a roll call vote.
Yes. Trustee Bellini.
Yes.
Trustee DeFrank.
Yes.
Trustee Dunbar.
Yes.
Trustee Fant.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Kennedy.
Yes.
Trustee Logue.
Yes.
Trustee Maggi.
Yes.
Trustee Nikolai,
Yes.
Trustee Oberlander,
Yes.
Trustee Pape,
Yes.
Trustee Pickett,
Yes.
Trustee Robinson,
Yes.
Trustee Weaver,
Yes.
Trustee Wheeler. Motion carries.
At this time, we'll appoint and elect officers. Trustees have been afforded the opportunity to indicate their interest for officer roles. At this time, the following slate of officers is presented. For the position of chair, Trustee Kathy Pape. For the position of vice chair, Trustee Larry Maggi. And for the position of secretary, Trustee J.D. Dunbar. I'll entertain a motion to approve the slate of officers as presented.
So moved. Second.
Moving in second, Ms. Stewart, will you take a roll call?
Trustee Bellini,
Yes.
Trustee DeFrank,
Yes.
Trustee Dunbar,
Yes.
Trustee Fant,
Yes.
Trustee Jones,
Yes.
Trustee Kennedy,
Yes.
Trustee Logue,
Yes.
Trustee Maggi,
Yes.
Trustee Nikolai,
Yes.
Trustee Oberlander,
Yes.
Trustee Pape,
Yes.
Trustee Pickett,
Yes.
Trustee Robinson,
Yes.
Trustee Weaver,
Yes.
Trustee Wheeler. Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Chairman Pate and Vice Chair Maggi and Secretary Dunbar. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Chair Pate. to proceed with the agenda.
I think all trustees have the consent agenda, and that's the next item on our agenda. And the consent agenda contains 3 items: the Penn West honorary degree policy, the Penn West building naming policy, and the order of succession. These items will be considered in one motion unless a member wishes to have an item removed for individual discussion. Is there any trustee that would like to discuss each of the items on the consent agenda individually? Is there anybody who's virtual that would like to have an individual consideration?
And that I am seeing.
Right. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a motion? Second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Anna, will you take a roll call, please? Absolutely. Okay. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is public comment. And I understand we do have someone who has registered in advance.
Dr. Andrea Sentich, if you would like to unmute yourself and provide your public comments, this would be the time to do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. My name is Andrea Vargas Sansich. I'm a faculty here at Penn West, originally from California. I teach Spanish, also some forensic linguistic courses, and also I'm the advisor of the Hispanic Student Association. I'm here today because we received communication from administration, and we're just trying to seek for clarification again, about the cutting minors, certain minors in Penn West. One of the minors that will be affected will be the Spanish language, besides other languages. So as you can imagine, having one of the biggest state universities in this area without teaching Spanish, it seems kind of unreal. The tiniest high school or elementary school in rural areas teach Spanish, but we are planning here to eliminate these courses. So if the program is cut, is a concept called linguistic discrimination. And I'm not going to go over the term, and I hope people will Google this at one point. but it is a term, it's real, linguistic discrimination. Our courses don't teach just the language. We teach the culture, we teach the people behind the language, morals, values that relate to culture, and that is very important to our society today. And we need to prepare those students out there to work with different social groups. So we are not serving our students in that way. And second, if we eliminate a curriculum, diverse curriculum in an institution, you are also increasing the no understanding and the no tolerance among our own community. So you are creating an environment that may not be even safe for our own students, faculty, or staff that is they belong to a specific social group. So this is not just about money. It has to be another type of evaluation when it comes to cutting diverse curriculum. The Spanish program at this university, especially is connected with the Hispanic Student Association. That is not an association that also deals with Hispanic students. Everybody joins. And the main source of integration are students coming from the Spanish classes. Also, originated in California, in the University of California, California, PA, we do a lot of service work. The Spanish program is connected with the Latino community of Washington, PA. And we work with the Latino community. We bring our students who are taking Spanish classes to work with the community. And we do have a real connection between originally California University, now Penn West, with the local community, diverse community in this area. So that will be gone as well. So I can go on and on, but I want to finish my statement. I'm not a mathematician. I'm a linguistics. I'm a professor. I'm an educator. I teach Spanish and I'm also all grades from kindergarten to college all my life. We started with 10 sections of Spanish this semester. The average of enrollment is over 90%. A week before we started classes, our elementary courses were full. We offered to add more elementary classes. So why will you cut, no you, I'm sorry, I'm not even use that pronoun. What the university will cut a program that has good enrollment when it comes to their courses. So I just want to put this out there, and I will be faculty's eager to work with administration to discuss these issues. And we just want clarification in what the steps are. And we're just happy to be there to work with all of you. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and I wish you a great rest of the day. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next item on our agenda is the Abscuff Report. And joining us this evening, I think I saw everyone on the screen, are the Abscuff chapter presidents from our Penn West campuses, Dr. Majan, Dr. Overly, and Dr. Claster. We're pleased you could attend and share comment on behalf of Abscuff. Unless you already have an order decided, I'll turn it over to Mario Majan for Penn West, California.
Thank you. Dear trustees of Pennsylvania Western University, this president person, other members of administration, dear guests. My name is Mario Maitzen, and I'm the president of the Abscuff California chapter. It is my honor to address the council during its inaugural meeting. In my comments, I want to focus on two critical issues for the university: enrollment and the academic program array. Our drop in enrollment this fall is very alarming. While higher education enrollment in Pennsylvania dropped by about 5%, our nearest PASHE sister school had a 2% drop. Our drop is of almost 12%. That seems extreme. There are many causes for that, but we hope that our course of action in the future will not repeat the past mistakes. A few years ago, our legacy school, California University of Pennsylvania, removed several programs from its academic program array. This was followed by an even deeper enrollment drop. For this consolidation, Penn West has removed programs from our legacy program array, and now we're witnessing a catastrophic enrollment drop in 1 year. When academic programs are removed from a university, it hurts enrollment. Not just the students in those programs, but all other students start wondering and start asking questions. Is my program next? Should I transfer to another school? Because I don't want a degree from a non-existing program. We heard students ask those questions last year when the reduced Penn West program array was introduced. I sincerely hope that we as a university had learned from our mistakes and that we don't plan on repeating this painful lesson again. Dear trustees, in the end, I want to convey a message from our faculty. We sincerely hope that this council will take more active role in debating strategic decisions, in providing constructive criticism and oversight to the university management, especially on the decision that may impact the university for decades to come. If our history is any guide, the university is its people, not its buildings, no matter how grandiose they tower over the campus. We as faculty look forward to new opportunities to serve our students and our communities at Penn West University. Dear members of the council, on the behalf of California faculty, I would like to wish you all the best in your service to this university. Thank you.
Is it Dr. Overly or Dr. Plaster next?
This is Dr. Overly. I'll go next. Greetings, trustees, President Pearson, administrators, and guests. My name is Joyce Overly, and I am the Clarion Abscuff Chapter President. I come before you today with a brief but important message. The faculty is not doing okay. We came out of the upheaval associated with pandemic teaching only to face more confusion and uncertainty from consolidation. The work of, to borrow an overused phrase, building the plane while flying it, is not only extensive, it is demanding because of the importance of getting it right for the future of Penn West. There's a phrase we use in computational chemistry, ab initio, which refers to the calculation of molecular structures and properties from the beginning, or starting from the very basic quantum mechanical equations that describe atoms and molecules. In a sense, we are doing the same in constructing the policies, procedures, and curriculum that will constitute new Penn West. July 1 was the official start of Penn West, but we have a long way to go to have a true new you with a new shared identity and culture. For faculty members, and not only those who are department chairs, department leaders, members of the interim curriculum committee, and other faculty leaders, this is an unsustainable workload that has thrown work-life balance out the window. Our chairs in particular are at or past the breaking point. In addition to the heavy workload, there is the compounding issue of lack of clarity in roles and responsibilities at Penn West. When a faculty member has a concern, it's difficult to know who to go to or what the correct answer is or where to find it. I'm not saying all of this to garner sympathy. I know that this consolidation process has been challenging for everyone, but I need you to know that the faculty is not okay right now. I look forward to the day when we reach a new equilibrium at Penn West, where faculty members are able to put the primary effort back into teaching and mentoring of students, the part of being a professor that brings joy, but we are far from that point right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Overly. Dr. Plaster?
Good afternoon. Can I get a thumbs up on a mic check? I had issues earlier in a meeting this afternoon. There we go. Thank you. Good afternoon, trustees, students, President Pearson, and all. My name is Sam Plaster, and I'm the Edinburgh Abscuff Chapter. My colleagues have done an excellent job summarizing the issue concerns of the faculty at Penn West. It's true that the amount of pressure faculty are under and the actual work this integration is taking, it truly is immeasurable. And there's been nothing like it before in history. Likewise, it's true what Dr. Meitzen said, that recent declines in enrollment and an already shrunk program array signal genuine concern regarding the prospect of attracting new students, growing enrollment, and becoming financially stable at our institution. My colleagues' concerns are real, and I hope you hear them. The truth is that we're not done integrating, regardless of the date. Much of the work of the faculty is truly midstream. Departments are constructing new policies and building solidarity with new colleagues across new terrain of physical and digital space. Faculty are synthesizing programs, writing thousands of course proposals as we speak, I'm sure, and serving on dozens of new Penn West committees while leading a number of vital university initiatives. They're also learning HR, information management, and student retention systems new to the majority of us. Oh yeah, and they're doing their day jobs on top of that. They're serving, they're researching, and they're teaching the elements of a professor's normal workload. We simply cannot squeeze our faculty nor our staff any further if we want to build the solidarity required and foster the buy-in necessary to be a successful university. The bottom line is, well, the bottom line is the bottom line. And we have a large budget gap to fill at Penn West. Here we are, post-integration, with the same financial problems we had as separate institutions. Worse, in fact. And here we are, with the same albatross of $30+ million in collective debt service payments annually, strangling our ability to become financially sustainable. As our new Council of Trustees, this is where you can help. The same old austerity measures are just not going to work. There is no cutting our way out of this. And if we get up to our old tricks, as they say, we will slowly destroy our new institution and shame the memory of our beloved legacy universities. We are a new university, and that requires a new path. We don't need budgetary overlords, and we certainly don't need executioners of academic programs. We need advocates. We're desperately in need of your advocacy for Penn West, to advocate for our students at the California, Clarion, and Edinburgh campuses, as well as in our global online programs. To go to local and state representatives on both sides of the political aisle and advocate for a real financial solution to our auxiliary debt. To make both gubernatorial candidates aware that we need increased funding to make sure that our rural and working class students have the academic supports, small class sizes, and expert faculty they need to be successful in their academic pursuits, yes, and successful in future employment endeavors, sure, but more to the point, successful in transforming themselves and their lives for university life. And I will sum this up here. Look, upward mobility for low socioeconomic status Pennsylvanians has always been our mission, but it's clear that it needs renewed. And Abscuff is here to be your partner in this. We will advocate, we will write letters, we will make phone calls. And yeah, certainly, we're not above a little protest if you think it'll help. We're here to work with you to provide our students with the opportunities they deserve and desperately need. But we will not be able to do that with the current debt we carry, and certainly not with any prospect of future cuts to staff, faculty, and programs. So I thank you greatly for your time, your service, your energy, but most importantly, your advocacy.
Thank you, Dr. Plaster. The next item on the agenda is the council chair report. I guess that's me. I'm not a person of a lot of words, but thanks to all of you. Thanks to JD in particular. But thanks for all of you, not for just being a trustee now, but for all the meetings and the time you spent in terms of making the integration work. So here we are now. And I think as Dr. Overly said, we're at the beginning. We're not at an end. This is a start. And I certainly will dedicate myself to working with the faculty and the staff and the students and their parents to make this coming together successful, this refinement, I think, as our president discussed it earlier. I think we all came at this from pretty much the same way. Many of us are alumni. We were first generation alumni, and there are many more first generation students that need to be educated to have an opportunity in the Commonwealth. And I think we all want to make that work. So whether it's helping to enroll students, whether it's helping to shape that revenue and expense lines on the budget, whether it is going to homecoming events, but we know we need to bring more students into the system, and we have to have a kind of a different way of looking at revenue and expenses. But I look around the table, I know many of you personally. So we've got the best and the brightest. I mean, they skimmed the cream when they did the nomination for Penn West. So I feel really comfortable that with this group, we can get to a better state so that we're not looking at that bracketed number and talking about taking money from reserves at some point. But let's put the time in, and certainly I appreciate any ideas, because this is not going to be the same old. It can't be, or we'll be seeing the same bottom line result. It's going to take some new ideas. So nothing's too crazy. We're trustees. We're here for support to the administration. So we have a great president, we have great staff, and we should be ready to go after today. It's a new path. It's a beginning. Thank you. The next item on the agenda are the student reports, and we have 3 trustees, 2 of which are here. Trustee Fant and Trustee Wheeler are here. I think I saw Trustee Robinson online. So Trustee Wheeler, would you like to go first?
Sure, I can do that. Right from the get-go this semester, when students got here, there seemed to be a new type of energy, especially with the freshmen on campus. It seemed like, from what I saw helping people move in, a lot of people are excited. There's clearly some concerns with the integration still. Those still remain and will linger for a while, but there's also hope as well. We saw high participation with UPB programs as well, the University Programming Board. I went to Grocery Bingo last week or a couple weeks ago, and we filled the room and people had to sit on the ground. And so there's high participation on all these programming board programs, and it's exciting to see. The resident halls have made some changes to where we are providing more programs in the halls as well for students. I've been working with the Student Government Association to try and spark interest in leadership, specifically within SGA, and participation there as well. I work closely with Emily, the SGA president, and we're working on possibly roundtabling, and then also having students kind of work with the SGA e-board officers, so hopefully they can one day replace them. Aside from that, me and Emily are also working with a lot of the student concerns. There have been concerns about parking on Edinburgh's campus, so we're meeting with Chief Vincent to discuss that and the possibility of a parking lot study that could be conducted. We're also meeting with Drew from Airmark to talk about the dining issues, because as we all know, students have strong voices about dining on campus. Nick and I were co-chairs on a selection committee for the new student trustees, as this will be our last semester here at our universities. So that process has went well. We have selected 2 qualified candidates and sent those recommendations to the Office of the President, who hopefully will send that forward to the Office of the Chancellor and to be approved by the Board of Governors. I'm also part of the Penn West University Fees Committee, and there's going to be a lot of work done there. We're trying to align the fees of all 3 campuses into one solid price across the board as fair as possible. And as we all know, that will be tricky. But like I said before, students are excited about it. There are obviously concerns that the faculty pointed out, which are true, especially the enrollment issues. But I think going forward, there's a plan and students are hopeful on campus.
Trustee Fant?
I like to share the same sentiments as John said. The campus climate, I think freshmen are a lot more easygoing with the integration. They're like, oh, I already knew what I was signing up for. I'm here. The issues with the upperclassmen, with some of the APSCA representatives shared is that some programs are leaving. They're being moved. People are taking online courses, and necessarily, I'm hoping that we're training the faculty to, have engaging classrooms and class environments for online settings. A lot of students are still fearful for having multimodal or asynchronous classes. And so that's steering a lot of people away. And that's, I'm saying that's kind of probably why we're having enrollment issues there. But other than that, we prevail. For student participation, for student government, CalU is doing pretty good. We have a cap of 48 for our student government, and we are at 45. I'm the VP of student government. So that's been going great. We've been having great participation with our SAB, which is our student activities board, same thing as kind of Edinburgh has. And we've had headphone disco, which is basically when you have the headphones on and you listen to music. We do that out on our turf down by our student center. The whole field was filled up and we ran out of headphones. People were sitting on the ground and they were just waiting for someone to come off to grab a headphone from them. So that was great. Other things that we have throughout this semester, we've been having bingo. People love that, getting prizes and stuff like that. Homecoming is next week for CalU, so we're really excited for that. I want to touch on our DEI efforts. So I want to shout out Derek Harshberger, which is our president for Rainbow Alliance, also our president for student government. Next week, he has organized a drag show. Last semester, we had a drag show bingo. That went crazy. So he's been advocating and advertising for that for next week, which will be, I'm pretty sure, a big hit. All the students love coming out for that. So I'm excited for him to be advocating and everything. Everyone's been behind him with that, and we're really supportive with him on that. And just to talk about collaboration, a lot of clubs have been collaborating with, we've been talking about this semester having more clubs collaborate with other clubs. One club that I would say in particular that has been collaborating with a lot of people, we have a club called the Underground, which is basically like our karaoke. We sing, people can come in and sing, it's open mic. And they've been collaborating with a lot of different clubs. Just last week, they were, I think they do a lot of Greek life, and they had like country night. This week they're collaborating with our club. They're doing emo, and then the week before that they had a Harry Styles theme, which they collabed with Rainbow Alliance. So that's we've been advocating for a lot of collaboration between clubs and that nature as well. But like John said, food service is a big thing. Student government been trying to tackle that for food concerns. And one thing in particular, what I would like to bring up is some people brought about COVID. So I don't know if this is a big issue, but some of our mental health centers are giving people, I guess, saying they have COVID or they have them in quarantine, and then that gets them behind on work. And so we've been dealing with that. That just came up just this week about people saying that they have tested themselves, and then they go to the health center and then they test them, and then they're like, well, we need you to quarantine so we can actually figure it out. But they don't actually have COVID because they already got tested, and then they are in quarantine for either over the weekend or for like 2 or 3 days while they wait for a test to come back. And like it disrupts everything that they do, with their schoolwork, and some faculty members are not as lenient when missing work, and it gets really hard if you would understand that being out for 3 days from school and being virtual when a class is not actually virtual is kind of rough for you to kind of jump back in. So that's something that we're gonna address a little bit further on here, but that's about what I have for my report.
Thank you. Trustee Robinson. Oh, there you are.
Here I am. It sounds like my upstairs neighbor is practicing his, I think it's a trombone, so I apologize if you can hear it, but it sounds like he needs to practice. But so I will keep my report brief. So I've been working pretty closely with Clarion's Student Government Association, we call it Student Senate here, on a variety of things. We've been meeting with some student affairs folks, and talking about how we can get more students to be involved on campus, but not even just like involvement in clubs and stuff, but like just being on campus. Because I know our student center has been kind of lacking with traffic in it. So we've been working on trying to make that a more welcoming and fun area for students to join in on. So we've got ping pong tables and pool tables and stuff like that. So that's really exciting. We've also been working with dining services a lot recently because one of our main dining halls has shut down for kind of. So students are not very happy about that because, as I would say on my tours as a tour guide, it is the better dining option. But students, so we just have to kind of explain to students why we don't have the dining option because of enrollment issues and head counts with our residence life and everything. So students are starting to understand that, I think, but they're not happy because they want their chicken sandwiches instead of having to go to the dining hall, which is understandable. I would also want my chicken sandwiches, but we're dealing with it. Some of our representatives from our student government is also going to Cal later this month for the state legislative committee visit. So that's exciting for them. And then just our campus climate in general. I think Clarion is reflective also of what John and Neek were saying about Edinburgh and Cal. Student involvement and engagement seems up, especially with our freshmen. So that's really exciting. It's starting to be more reflective of what it was like my freshman year. So that's a little nostalgic for me personally. But it's nice getting to see people want to do things and want to be leaders on campus again. Like I said, students are a little bit upset about the dining changes, but we're dealing with it. I think the biggest thing regarding student campus climate in general is our financial aid billing for students for Clarion's campus. We just got those, and I know some students still don't have their bills finalized for this semester, so it's frustrating for some of us who don't know what we owe and have to start registering for classes for next semester. So a lot of students are nervous about that. And I understand it's a whole big ordeal, like with integration and getting financial set up and everything. But students are really worried about that. So just wanted to keep you guys in the loop on that. But other than that, students are happy to be back, I think. Like I said, this is the most involved I've seen students be on campus since I was a freshman, which was when we got sent out home in March for COVID. So it's a nice change of pace for sure. But unless there are any questions, that is the end of my report.
Questions? Katie, I just want to clarify, is this your last meeting or are you with us again at our next meeting?
You are stuck with me. I don't graduate until May.
Oh, perfect. Well, I know that John and Eek this is their last meeting, and if we had a little more time to plan, we'd had cake or something to celebrate and to thank you, because if we have new student trustees that are even half as engaged as you are, we'll be really, really lucky. So let's give them a big round of applause.
John and I help with that committee harshly. So you are expecting 2 great, hopefully, if they get accepted. So.
The next item on the agenda is the university president's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to start off my report with introducing Dr. Lorraine Bernatsky. I'm pleased to welcome her to Penn West leadership team, and she was welcomed on October 3rd as the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer. Dr. Bernatsky is on loan to Penn West from Westchester University, where she has served as Provost since 2015 and Executive Vice President since 2017. In her role as Executive Vice President, she has served as the institution's Chief Operating Officer. In addition to leading Westchester's Academic Affairs Division, she has been responsible for leadership in the area of budget and labor relations. Lori has extensive experience in undergraduate and graduate admissions, enrollment management, financial aid, student support services, curriculum development, program review, and assessment. And she's a darn good cook too. Together, we will be analyzing, assessing, and developing plans for the number of areas critical to the success of Penn West, including academic and business functions, organizational structure, program array, and current retention strategies. We are excited to have Lori Bernowski on our team and to build on the work that we've already accomplished, which has been tremendous. And her special assistant, Scott Heinrichs, who's been with us as well, is also doing some dean development and academic affairs on work with student success and retention as well. The National Science Foundation, so this is Lori. So welcome, everybody. Lori. Hi. The National Science Foundation has awarded Penn West $1,228,857 for a learning community among its science faculty. The grant will be used to implement the type of professional development known as learning community, to determine how the community relates to student learning, to contribute best practices, to extend this framework to other STEM departments and other higher education institutions. The Department of Education awarded Penn West TRIO Upward Bound program $2.8 million that will fund student support services with a long history of success in that area, and this will continue. The Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board awarded us $102,000 in grants for prevention efforts on all three of our campuses. And Pennsylvania Western University is the name of our university now. We heard from Ashi that we don't have to add that extra of Pennsylvania on at the end by Act 50. So we are simply Penn West or Pennsylvania Western University. That ends my report.
Thank you, Dr. Dale. The next item on our agenda is a packed Board of Governors update. There was a call this afternoon I was listening in on. Trustee Maggi, were you on the call?
JD was.
Trustee Dunbar, would you like to report out on the call this afternoon?
Sure. Actually, the Chancellor talked about some very positive things about our state system of higher ed and how we're addressing workforce demands. And he put up some very impressive graphs. And one of the trustees said all trustees should see this, not just those of us on the call. And the graphs were relative to how we as a state system are addressing workforce development needs and what are the areas specific. So the second top area in Pennsylvania that we are helping is health education. He also talked about how to assess needs and how courses are meeting needs for the state. It was a fairly positive meeting with a fairly small turnout of about 12 people. Thank you most graciously.
Thank you. One of the things that I recall the Chancellor saying, and I think we all have to be involved in it as well, is not just in making sure that Penn West is successful, but also that there's an integration of Penn West into our communities and being an engine to drive the economy in all of our communities. I mean, we all had discussions about what would happen if our universities went away. And I think the legislature heard us, but I think it's incumbent on us to be affirmative, to reach out in each of our communities to make sure that there's that connection between the community and the economy and our university. So we've got some good opportunities in that regard. The next item on the agenda is the Faculty Senate report, and we will hear a report from the Faculty Senate, which is co-chaired by Dr. Jackie Naust, representing Penn West Clarion. There are also representatives from the other two campuses, Dr. Robin Weaver, who's with Penn West California, and Dr. Peter Kuvshinikov, representing Penn West Edinburgh. But Dr. Weaver, I think that you are the person who's going to report.
I'm actually here.
Oh, you're there.
I was hiding in the corner and thought it was best I come up to the podium. Yeah, that's fine. So Madam Chair, Trustees, President Dale, other administrators, yes. So thank you so much for letting me come to talk about Senate. We started our work last spring with our legacy campuses, electing for the officers of Senate to be a committee to work over the summer to prepare a document to get the Senate started for this year. So there was 9 of us. It was well represented across the 3 campuses. We had some interesting and lively discussions as we talked about our different cultures and what we did differently at this Senate and that Senate. We picked out what we thought were the best elements of the Senates that we had and put them together into a document. This is our Constitution and bylaws. We have presented it to the faculty, but in the spirit of shared governance, we want time to ratify it. So we want to go through the same process with the current Senate body that we had with the small group of individuals. So we can go through the discussions. So some of the hotter items that might come up in the Constitution and bylaws. We hope to get the ratification finished by the end of this semester or at the latest beginning of next semester. But in the meantime, we still have been having our meetings every other week with the full Senate and every other week for the Executive Senate. Dr. Dale and Provost Miller have been kind enough to come to our meetings and to give us reports on kind of the state of the union kind of thing, what's going on with Penn West, and to field the various questions that faculty have. And as you can imagine, there are many questions that are being asked. From this, we have identified some things that need to be done. We've been charged with forming a subcommittee to work on the faculty professional development. And so we did have a subcommittee that came out of the Faculty Senate. They're going to be working on that kind of committee to get that started. We also have what we call Starfish. It's a retention product for students, and it does a lot of different things. Some of the Cal U campus was used to it, but the other 2 campuses weren't. And so when we started using Starfish, there was some pushback and some concerns, particularly because there were some automated messages that went out to students that was of concern to the faculty. And so we had the Starfish representatives come to our meeting. We discussed it. We recognized the importance of Starfish, and the faculty wanted to work through it. So we again formed another committee that's going to work with Starfish so that we can work out sort of the kinks in that. So we're going to continue to do that. We had the opportunity to meet with Dr. Podolsky this today, which was very nice. Thank you so much for coming. And so we're going to continue to move forward, hope to get things ratified, and we'll keep working on the process that we need to do and forming the committees to get the work done that needs to get done. And if there's any questions.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, it's a little cheat sheet they gave me, said I should ask if anybody thinks we need a break right now. Anybody need a break? Okay, all right, we'll push on. The next, if you need a break, go ahead. Next item on the agenda is university reports, and we have 7 or so. Let's start with academic affairs. Dr. Burnett.
Yes, I'm actually going to ask Provost Miller to give a report for academic affairs.
I thought it'd be better to take the long way around. Thank you, Dr. Bernofsky. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, trustees. I want to thank you for all the work that you have done. I also want to thank the faculty and staff for all the work they have done. As you heard from the faculty, they've been working very, very hard over the last 18 to 24 months on this integration, and this year is no exception. During this year, they have accomplished a significant amount. In the spring, they synthesized all the graduate programs. What that means is all the separate programs at each of the separate institutions were reviewed by the faculty, and they now have one of each program. Creates efficiency, and it also creates the ability for students to be taking classes at different campuses if they so desired, and it meets the needs of accreditations as well. So we're very pleased with that work. After that, they moved on to general education. General education framework has been approved by the faculty, and they're moving forward with approval of courses for that framework.
And their next step, they've been working on since the spring as well, is the undergraduate programs. We have an undergraduate program array. We've mapped that to the previous programs that we had at the legacy institutions, and all the faculty are working on their relative programs and across departmental lines where there are programs that they may have similarities or that they serve. This is just a smattering of some of the programs since I last met with the individual trustees of the legacy institutions, of some programs and the courses that have been approved. These are all programs that were expected on the program array. They're part of what we were launching towards. And this is just a small portion of them, including a lot of certificates, which are subsets of the various master's degree programs that you have. So I can't thank them enough for all that hard work. In addition to all this, we had faculty involved with the staff within academic affairs, working on all of our academic policies. It was very important to us that once the students hit the ground on July 1st, we had policies in place so they knew what to do to appeal a grade. They knew how to apply for graduation. They knew what the requirements were for various elements of their academic standing to allow them to succeed. So those all were approved through before June 30th. So July 1st, we hit the ground. And now with you approving the honorary degree policy earlier, all the academic programs have been reviewed by faculty, by staff, by legal counsel, and approved. So we're very pleased with the work that they have done. Are there any questions for me? Yes.
So does that mean then that graduate degrees are campus specific, and then you do multimodal if you are located near another campus now?
That's a great question. No, many of our programs are offered at multiple campuses. In the case of graduate, most of our programs are actually online programs already. They were already being delivered online, therefore the students are all over the place. In some of our programs, we've got students all over the world taking our programs.
When you went through this process, were there any graduate degrees added or eliminated?
At this point in time, at the graduate level, the programs all pretty much stayed the same. They were just synthesized into one list as opposed to 3 separate lists.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mel.
Thank you very much. There's also in your packet a list of, I can't say enough about the accomplishments of our students, our faculty, and staff, of the grants they've received. Dr. Dale mentioned some of them, publications, and the student successes. Thank you.
Quick question. Sorry. I'm so sorry. You guys make the programs, right? Is it just graduate programs or undergraduate programs?
Well, the programs emanate from the faculty,
Okay.
from the department through the dean's office, through the curriculum committee, which is all faculty to us.
Okay.
And the process we use for the synthesis involved all layers of review
Right.
as we develop the new program.
Got it. Now, do you have the information on, for any undergraduate programs, are students being advised on what to do if their program has been moved to another institution?
That has not happened.
Okay.
Any programs with all of our programs, we've mapped them to our new program array in one way or another to allow students to continue. We've also committed for all students, and this is a great question, it's a great point to make. For all students in all of our legacy programs, we've committed to teaching those programs out.
Okay.
That may mean they're going to take courses that are in the new program requirements, but we've mapped them back to the old program requirements.
Okay.
So they will be taught out whatever program they're in now. If they don't move out of that program, they will be able to complete.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
I guess this is the appropriate time to ask us, what will be the graduation diplomas look like? Will they be Penn Western University, and when will be the first class?
Jim will correct me if I'm wrong. However, we have 4 versions of the diploma that will be used. So the diploma, the default diploma for students graduating from a campus will be Pennsylvania Western University at Edinburgh, at Clarion, at Cal. If they're in an online program, it would be Pennsylvania Western University. That said, we've been discussing giving them an option as to which diploma they would like to get, because first of all, that's not the legal document. The transcript's the legal document, but also they may have a really close affinity to a faculty member at another campus. Let's say that, this is one of the benefits of integration. You get to work with faculty at the other campuses that have expertise that you didn't have access to at this campus. So maybe they developed a mentorship relationship with a faculty member at another campus, and that's where they really feel their degree is from. They can ask for that diploma so they can frame that.
Trustees, fan, Wheeler and Robinson were instrumental in designing the new levels.
Quick question to that. Are we gonna take off the of Pennsylvania?
Yes. we
Okay.
are. Done.
What was first class under that designation?
It will be December.
December.
First two.
Right, thank you all.
The next report will be institutional effectiveness and student affairs, Dr. Suzanne Fenske, and I think she is online.
She is.
It's on the screen.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Oh,
Can you hear me okay?
yes.
Good. All right. Thank you. So this evening, I'll start out with some information about institutional effectiveness and institutional research. Just as all the other areas on campus are very busy determining how to merge our operations, it has definitely shown to be a challenge when it came to our data as we migrated to a similar system. And so our institutional research staff is working very hard to be able to validate our data on the new systems. And they are doing that as we speak through the month of October to validate our freeze data and make sure that we all have the most up-to-date information as we're making decisions moving forward for Penn West. Another significant project that we are working on is launching the strategic planning process for Penn West. We are in the process of populating all of the leadership positions for the strategic planning committees. There will be 5 of them. And we are doing onboarding with those groups this month so we can move forward with having them do document review of not only the legacy strategic plans, but also a great deal of the information that was generated through the integration process. And then identify any gaps in stakeholder feedback, and then go out and get our feedback from all of those key individuals early next spring as we move forward in carving out what our strategic plan will be. And that will launch then next August. The actual plan will become that living document that we use to move forward and build our assessment plans off of. And we are also looking for a trustee to sit on our strategic planning oversight team. I know you are all busy organizing yourselves this evening, and so we didn't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we'll be sending out a communication to all of you shortly and ask if any of you would be willing to volunteer to be part of that oversight group, so we can chat more about that. Additionally, we do have a follow-up visit for the Middle States Complex Substantive Change document that we submitted in April, that then the approval to move forward as Penn West as one university took place at that time. There were a handful of items they wanted us to address as we had some time moving forward. And so we submitted that document on October 1st. And they will be doing a site visit on the California campus in the first week of November, so we can chat more about that process and talk through any other information that they would be interested in getting from us. So that's it's an ongoing process at this point, and we will continue to keep you all informed on that. Shifting gears to the university police, we are working to standardize our emergency operations, and we are creating new emergency response teams on each of the 3 campuses, and then also standardizing our approach on a broader scale for Penn West, so that the leadership is all on the same page when it comes to significant issues that we would need to address and make decisions for. So we're moving forward with launching those teams and getting people comfortable with that information as well. Our 3 police departments are also continuing to work on their accreditation process. They have made great progress in standardizing their policies as we move forward, and their accreditation would then begin as one police unit next July. So we're making great progress towards that. And then, as many of you know, the Clery report is something that we are required to do federally by October 1st each year, and all 3 of our campuses have submitted that. So we're in good shape with our compliance issues. And then I have a slide here that quite a few people have already touched on some of this information. Our student trustees gave you a great overview of campus life. But this is an overall look at student affairs. A lot of really great work happened this summer with our conferences and events groups. They welcomed over 16,000 attendees on all 3 campuses at nearly 100 different events. So we are really proud of the work that happens during the summer, and we want to continue to grow our capacity for continuing to showcase our campuses during the summer months when we have the opportunity to do that. We are, as I said, campus life is growing. We have welcomed over 2,000 students in the new student orientation process this summer. All of the data and the breakdown by campus is available in your packet, so feel free to review that. And then we also provided data on our residence life and housing numbers, so you can see our occupancy there, continuing to grow that. And our wellness initiatives, as Dr. Dale mentioned, we were just awarded a Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board grant that totaled over $100,000 for Penn West, all 3 campuses. So that was really a significant achievement for us. In the past, 1 or 2 of the campuses had submitted for that grant, but we were now given that distinction across all 3. So we're very proud of that. And then we are also continuing to respond to COVID concerns as they come up, certainly not at the same level as they were before, but continuing to be involved in the monkeypox conversation because one pandemic wasn't fun enough. So we're going to continue to roll with it. So I would be happy to answer any questions that you all have. As I said, a lot more information in your packet.
Any questions for Dr. Frenske? We have one from Trustee Overlander.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
So you had just mentioned COVID and the concerns that you guys are dealing with, and our student trustee from the California campus had mentioned some of the quarantining and the delay in the testing results.
Mhm.
Are you familiar with that concern, and are you working directly with them to address that?
Yeah, that is the first that I had heard of it. So I asked a staff member while we were talking through the other items, and that issue was raised recently, and the health centers are working to address it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Dr. Frenske?
I have one. Part of our charter as a council of trustees is to validate or approve or certify the carrying of firearms by the security police. When must that be done? Is that an annual requirement? Is that one that we do and it stays in effect forever? And must we do it this fiscal or this semester?
I would defer to Molly on that. I am not familiar with the cycle that gets done.
I don't believe it's annual. I think it just has to be done once. But I can confirm that.
So since we're a new university, do we have to do it now?
I mean, as I said, it's statutorily required, so the answer has to be yes. I'm not sure if we have to do it at this meeting since we don't have a resolution, but maybe at the next meeting. I can look into that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Dr. Frenske? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is strategic enrollment and global online. Dr. Aaron Lake, Vice President for Strategic Enrollment and Global Online Advancement, will share the Strategic Enrollment and Global Online Report.
Good evening. Good evening. Here we go. As you know, last Friday, the state system released its official headcount data. You read the papers, you're aware of what's out there. They did post an overall decline that is consistent with regional publics nationally. You also read the papers, you know the declining demographics with 18-year-olds. You know there was a pandemic. So that's where we are right now. Penn West official freeze data is being finalized. Why? Because we had 3 SIS systems and we took them to 1. And at 5 o'clock, they took that system down and we're going to posh C1 sys. So we are living history still right today. So we will bring back to the next meeting official census data. But initial indicator, we do know we're approximately 13,000 strong, so we're very proud of that. And we do have a 1.8% increase in new freshmen, which speaks to what you addressed earlier. What's special about that is because that shows a confidence in our future. These students made a 4-year commitment to us before we were even Penn West on July 1st. So I think we should be very proud of that. A lot to celebrate there. Now, we recognize that some students did not continue, and we are studying that. We're engaged in a very comprehensive survey. We're making outreach in terms of retention. We know many of our students have modest means, and that with the labor shortage, it's more attractive to maybe work right now, make $20, $30 an hour. But we're confident that we will make outreach and get them back on track with us. We do know that transfers were down at community colleges, and they have been down with those enrollments. But we're all about student retention. In fact, to that point, we are finalizing integrated recruitment and retention plan, and also marketing, working very closely with Jim's team. I stepped into this role August 10th. You knew me in Global Online, but I stepped into strategic enrollment August 10th. And I did that because deeply committed to our mission, great confidence in our president, our chancellor, these trustees. I am a product of the state system, and I know that we can do this, that we have a plan and we execute and we report to you on our progress. Very confident we can do this. Any questions?
Can you talk about your what you're doing with the stopout students specifically?
Yes, for example, with Global Online students, we have success coach for the face-to-face campus students, those online. We're calling them, we're going through every single non-continuing student and making a note, what happened. You know, a lot of them stopping out for the job. You know, some got sick, they're taking care of people. Some are just burned out. We know mental health is an issue. So you know what, take a semester off, come back, we'll be here for you. So we're very actively engaged in that. I will bring a more comprehensive report soon. And we recently took on student success, actually starting Thursday. So we're very aligned and working closely. I have great confidence in my colleagues and our faculty that we can do this.
Maybe this will come in your more comprehensive report, but what are some of the things you're doing now for the students this semester so we don't see a big loss like that again?
Well, one thing is Operation Cupcake, and so we're encouraging them to schedule. And another thing that we'd like to do is have a full semester or a full year academic calendar where students could schedule out semesters to help keep them connected to us. We have a number of success coaches calling. Phone calls seem to be the best, but they'll text, they'll email. So they're working it hard.
I was going to ask, I guess I could guess, let's see what number of enrolled students we have combined at Penn Western University.
13,000. About 4,000 of those are online. Yep, we should celebrate that. That's quite an accomplishment, major lift.
Could you tell us more about Operation Cupcake?
Well,
Is it a joke or is it just-
no, it's for real. If you, you know, incentivize with a cupcake, show us on your phone that you scheduled, we'll give you a cupcake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they'll be in the residence halls, and food works, doesn't it?
Us being CAs, I would say, yeah.
Karen, Dr. Lake, you talked about what are the reasons that you were seeing the drop is burnout. So I know that during the pandemic, when they came back, we had mental health. Is that continuing so we can maybe avoid this moving forward?
Yeah, that's Dr. Fenn's probably talked about.
Well, I didn't come up with this question.
Yeah, you know, I was at Edinburgh for moving day, and the students were so excited. It was normal. It felt normal, and the parents were so proud. And then I went to soccer games and football games. They're very engaged at homecoming. They had a great time at Clarion, and then even though it's a little cold at Edinburgh, they're engaged. They're excited to be back. It feels normal. So we're making progress on that. But yes, we have to make sure we're there for them on a mental health and for our staff too.
Absolutely.
Very tired.
So you'll hear more about a couple of initiatives with the Penn West staff and faculty regarding mental health. That's something we're working on for our talent development initiative and our staff support, but also they've ramped up services, counseling services.
Yes, we've worked in the integration process. We worked to standardize the counseling model across the 3 campuses, and also to really invest in the behavioral intervention process, which is a fantastic way for us to get in front of students who have concerns, and really get them the right resources right off the bat before they would spiral, and get beyond a point where they're, when they're talking about stopping out, we want to catch them before they get to that. So behavioral intervention has been very critical, standardizing our counseling model, and all of the counselors are working together. They created, just like the other areas, they created their workflows, policies, and procedures together to help in that respect. And then Dr. Dale just mentioned, we're looking at mirroring the mental health component for the faculty and staff. As we know, there has been a significant drain and a toll on the staff. And so we want to have a mechanism in place that we can at least flag concerns about our peers so that we could get them routed to the appropriate resources through human resources as well.
Does that include drug and alcohol?
There are services for them as well. Yeah.
And I was so excited, I forgot, I got to give you a Global Online update. We launched our official website this week, and it's really well done. Kudos to Jim's team. Marketing has done an outstanding job. And if you click on the academics link, much admiration to academic affairs. That is a very impressive array online. So we're proud of our work there. All 3 Global Online pilot programs have been onboarded, and they're working with instructional designers who are making the content really innovative and exciting. There are 3 grad programs. It's MBA, Exercise Science, and Library and Information Science. And really just getting great feedback from the faculty. Proud to show off their course before instructional designers and after. And then again, we're just continuing to join forces, collaborate, and align around strategy, and we will report to you on our progress. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Dr. Lake, before you go, if a student has a financial issue, they feel that they need to drop out because they can't pay, as opposed to a mental health or an alcohol drug issue, where do they go? Who do they talk to help them sort things out?
To that point, exactly. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m., about 20 of us get together and we work on this recruitment plan. And today we realized banners going down. We ran a report right at 9 o'clock this morning to see any student had a financial hold, what we could do to help them. So we're reaching out to them. It's a variety of issues. You're exactly right. We don't want that to keep them from enrolling.
Aaron, I'll also add, since the question was asked about behavioral issues, drug and alcohol issues, students of concern, that is the entire behavioral intervention process and structure that we put in place. And we know from a very robust system and data collection system at the Clarion campus that our data shows that that process does work. And that is why we've made a significant effort right off the bat to scale that to all 3 campuses. And it is working, and we do receive many faculty and staff reports, and also students reporting concerns about other students who they feel need some additional resources. So any of those concerns that come in through that process, they are routed to the correct resource, whether that's the mental health component, drug and alcohol, or do we need to connect them with someone with financial aid or scholarships or emergency funding that is available for them as well.
Kathy, we have the Student Hardship Fund. So we recently had a student who was supposed to receive a grant for childcare, and there was going to be a 10-day lag. And so she had to pay the tuition. We worked with Jim's team. Her advisor reached out to us. We were able to forward fund the money for her to cover her childcare until that grant came through. So we use that hardship fund quite often, even small gaps. $50 for someone who doesn't have $50 might as well be $1,000. So we use that fund to work with Jim's team to fill those gaps for whether it be an electric bill sometimes or childcare or anything that will keep them retained and not have to leave the university.
And to that point, we have a product, which is another plus to integration. It's called Next Gen Scholarship Tool. So now all the scholarships are in one spot and like a catalog, and you can say to Callie's point, this person just short this much, we can go and see what scholarship we can award just to make the difference.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So,
Nice
any other
improvement.
questions for Dr. Lake? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is finance and facilities, and Dr. Bernarski, are you going to address it?
I'm going to introduce, ask Vice President Veronica to give the finance and facilities report.
Good evening, everyone. As we always do in finance and facilities, we always have an action item. It seems like at every quarterly trustee meeting. So I think we'll start with that first. Well, let's start with contracts. So in your packet is a list of all the contracts and purchases for the period of time, April 21st, 22 through July 20th of 22. And you can see the amount there was $5,544,227. With Act 50, we do need to inform the trustees of those expenses, but we do no longer need the approval.
Any questions on those expenditures?
In the future, will we see more detail on what some of these contracts are and what they're for and why?
Yes, we can add some fields. This is a canned report that came out of our system, but there are other fields, whatever the trustees would like to see, we can work with having that added to the report.
Thank you. And is there a goal when you're awarding contracts to try to keep them inside of Pennsylvania when you can, so that we can further the workforce that we're already feeding with our graduates?
Yes, there is. So we, and you'll notice in the report, it'll list the state that those contracts were awarded to, but we do pay attention to the state of Pennsylvania when possible.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next item is our action item for tonight. It is our 22-23 university budget approval. Act 188 calls for the council of trustees to review and approve the recommendations of the president pertaining to the annual operating and capital budget requirements for forwarding to the Board of Governors. So the next slide will show our educational and general and auxiliary budgets for this upcoming year. It details our revenue and expenditures, and our budgets are projected at this point in time based upon our best data that we have available. At our each quarterly meeting, you will be given updates as to what our original budget was and where we're at that point in time to track the variance as we go through the fiscal year. So this, go ahead.
We have, in the revenue side, we have quite a bit of one-time, one-year money. And next year, if things stay flat on enrollment and appropriation stays flat, what are we going to do?
Right. So we're working through, with enrollment, trying to get some enrollment strategies to build our enrollment. We're also looking at all of our costs to see if there's any efficiency that we can gain there. We're also working to get some debt restructuring to help us with our debt payments.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we'll ask for a motion. Budget.
You have the numbers here and you've had them in your packet. Do I hear a motion for approval of the 22-23 budget?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion on the motion?
Is that in our packet?
That is that in the packet? That is not.
It's not. Okay. I'm making sure because I'm looking for it. And I'm like, I don't see it.
I asked the same question.
All in favor?
We don't need a roll call vote on this? Voice vote? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion will carry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Con.
Also, just a brief update on our finance division within the facilities. It's in your packet. There's some information about the different divisions within our area, but I just wanted to highlight some things. As Scott alluded to earlier, the staff has been working very hard through the integration period. A lot of things that people don't realize that happens in integration, bringing together the student information systems, the business process and SAP. So you've had your finance division working on that, this past fiscal year. It was a very short time frame, and they were able to bring together 3 student information systems as well as a brand new business area for the Penn West. We billed our students. We successfully, this summer, we awarded our financial aid a little bit late, but we got the financial aid packages out. And also we need to give kudos to our information technology department. They have been working very hard. They were very immense with losing staff along the way. So they have been just working night and day on our technology needs, not only just our banner information system, but our slate for our applications. Every platform you can think of, our D2L platforms. And tonight, like I think Aaron alluded to it, we actually cut over to the PASHI One Sys tonight. We're in phase 1. So we're taking the knowledge that we gained through integration, setting up our banner instance to now utilize that for PASHI. So we're very proud of that as well. Also under facilities, I don't want to forget that very important area. We have a lot going on our campuses. We were very fortunate to have some DGS dollars for demolition, and there's buildings on every campus that's set for demolition. I think the first 2 that are actually coming down is on the Cal campus. It's our Zorski building as well as our Keystone Ed building. Those are actually being facilitated here real shortly. At Clarion, some other things that we have done too is with we're able to implement a new staffing model as a customer service to that staff and to be able to serve their needs quicker and more efficiently. And at Edinburgh, we have some work going on with DGS as well with our library renovation, and the demolition is 90% complete and the rebuild and installation has already started. Some exciting news around the planning and construction is down in Penn West, California. We had some DGS money approved a couple of years ago, through the legislature and stuff for a new building, science building. The design phase is to begin in December. So that's very exciting because that'll allow us to take down 2 other old buildings that really are costing us a lot of money to operate. And that completes my report. Good question.
Do we have a projection when the library will be complete? Because I swear I've seen like 3 different years over the past few months. Yes, would love to see that as soon as they can. So is there like a projection of when that will be finished?
I don't have that deadline with me tonight, but I do know that it's well underway. And anytime we work with timelines are always like moved out a few months. So I can give you a date that's going to be moved out probably, by the time I get done saying it.
Necessarily, that was my question too, just for the California campus. But actually, for the Keystone and Zorski being demolition, me as a student, I don't do the students know what's going to be put there? Like, do we have any ideas? Is it just going to be a blank lot, or is buildings going to be built up there?
Yes, it'll be green space. It'll just be a blank lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we get money from DGS for things like this to demo buildings, because our size is too big, right? So as our FTE is shrunk, both in staff and students, we have too much excess space and it's costly,
right?
Especially on the deferred maintenance part. So, we were lucky and fortunate enough to get some money from DGS to pay for the demolition.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Maybe it's just a communication, so the students know, even if DGS is going to be delaying and delaying and delaying, at least they know it's DGS delayed each time. It's the knowing as opposed to wondering what it was for.
Absolutely.
I believe that the student newspaper did an interview with the library director, Tony, to get some of those details. I don't know if they've run that story yet.
I haven't seen it myself, but that's exciting.
And also, the system, the campus administrator did an interview earlier today.
Yes. Okay. So we'll circle around and make sure that gets completed.
Great, thank you.
Question about the new staffing model. Is that based off of something at California or Edinburgh, or is that completely something new? And if it works, is it then going to be replicated at the other 2?
Yeah. So I think they were looking at the efficiencies of the other 2. So everything we did with integration, we kind of looked at how 3 of us did things and then took the best and put them together to make Penn West.
Right. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Next item is university advancement.
Thank you very much. I'm going to read all these words to you, but I will start by, again, thanking our student trustees for the hard work that you did. And Angela Burrows, our marketing person, and her team worked really close together. The diplomas were certainly a flashpoint, and we were able to bring in those that will be affected first. And actually, they designed the diplomas. So they worked with our staff, went back and forth. I think we had of Pennsylvania in like 0.4 font. So couldn't hardly see it anyway, but now it's gone. So thank you again to all of our student trustees and students. But our communications area, we've launched a campus-wide e-news. So we each kind of had our own way of sharing updates on campus. Our communications group run by Wendy Mackel has been able to work with the marketing department again to kind of pull out that together. So we send out weekly an update of news stories and areas of interest per campus, and then Penn West total. That same information goes to every campus. So if I'm on the Clarion campus, I can see what's happening and what events are going on. I'm on the other campuses as well. We've launched our new campus social media channels. So those are starting to gain traction. It's a little bumpy on social media there at times with integration, but we're getting a lot of kind of organic support now. A lot of our alumni didn't go to Clarion University, they went to Clarion State Teachers College. So change has been a part of our culture since the very beginning. And so it's nice to see some of that catching up with the hard work of integration now. When we launched Penn West Facebook's page, we had 212 visits that first day. So we were excited by that. We had a lot of views, and same thing with the Instagram and the Facebook pages. Continue to see growth as we move forward. Marketing, again, Angie Burrows is our marketing person. She's done an outstanding job. The website is a work in progress. We have an intermediate website, which is the pennwest.edu. The global online site is part of that intermediate site as well. That was originally intended to be a landing spot for marketing. We learned we needed to add more and more and more to it. So thanks to Jeff Bender and his team on the website, they've been managing our legacy sites because a lot of information lives there. They have been building the pennwest.edu, and they're working with a company now to build the final, the next iteration of the pennwest.edu. That's in the wireframe phase now. So that's a year-long big budget project, but it's crucial to get that right so students can find the information and faculty and staff can find the information that they need. Right now, we're focusing a lot of our marketing efforts on brand awareness, trying to maintain that legacy feel for campuses when we're able to. We'll start shifting into programmatic directed marketing here before too long, but it's important for us to launch the brand and to have that recognition for it. You've probably seen billboards as you traveled around. That was the first piece that we did to, again, try to build that awareness. Student recruitment, working very close with Erin and her team. We had to redo everything. Usually you have some of those pieces that carry on from year to year. Everything was rebranded. All that's done now. The student view books are being bound. I was going to bring them tonight. They're not quite ready, but that's an important piece, an important milestone for us to get past to be able to share those. But again, kudos to our team. We've done a lot of that work in-house and have some really great talent there. Alumni engagement, Amanda Sissom on the Edinburgh campus oversees alumni engagement for all three campuses. Had successful homecomings at, where have we been? Seems like every week we're somewhere else. We've been at Clarion, we've been at Edinburgh. We're going to rest this weekend and then we'll go on to Cal. But a lot of great engagement from students, from alumni coming back. Some have questions, some have pointed questions, and that's fine and that's fair. We address those and move forward. But a lot of great energy around the homecoming events that we've had so far. So the pressure's on at Cal to keep that going. Advancement services, one of the pieces that we're doing is as we have with everything, we did kind of the same work 3 different ways, and we had 3 different systems that did it. So right now we're reviewing how we do that on the fundraising and alumni engagement side. We all use the same vendor for that alumni and fundraising database, but of course we have different iterations of it and we put the data in differently. So I'm actually meeting here tomorrow with the foundation presidents from each foundation and their executive directors. We're looking at how and where can we find efficiencies in how we enter data. So that's going to be a big piece for us. And I think there's a lot of great opportunities for Penn West to both maintain the legacy that's important to donors, but then also chart a path for a future that very inclusive. Grants is in our shop now. We don't write the grants. We kind of partner with faculty on the back end of those. We contract with IUPRI, Indiana University of Pennsylvania Research Institute. Yep. They provide for PASHE grant support. So that's a lot of that back office and post-award work that we don't have staff to do, that we're able to contract with them. Currently, there's about almost $21 million of grants Penn West wide. So it's a pretty substantial work that our faculty and staff do to bring in both private and state federal grants. Fundraising, surprising, pleasantly surprised. Last year, a lot going on. Combined, we raised $10.4 million, the 3 different universities together. That meets our five-year averages. So with COVID, with integration, with a lot of unknowns, our staff did a great job. Our alumni did a great job. Many of you are very supportive. We appreciate that. And it makes a difference to the students in our programs. Unaudited through September 30th of this fiscal year, we're a little over 1.1 million. We also have a number of 6-figure gifts that we're wrapping up on each campus. So again, a lot of exciting momentum with donors. I think we've seen some of the donors that might have made smaller gifts have stepped away, but the folks that have really invested on our campuses have continued to do so. So it's been fantastic to see that. Another number that I think is worth sharing and celebrating, we don't combine the endowments, but if we add them together, the 3 foundations have a combined endowment of north of 115 million. So that's a substantial endowment for an institution of our size. So we're a lot of great work over a number of years by our foundation boards to get us there. That's it. That meant my
Questions for Jim?
3 minutes.
Not a
Yes.
question, just a comment.
Yes.
I don't remember if I mentioned this in the, oh, actually that was information for something else. But just with everyone here, I would just say it was really great. That video with the mascots and Dr. Dale, it was something out of a movie. Like I was just sitting there like this, it popped on my phone. We were like, what is this? And at first we're like, oh, this is cheesy. And then I kept watching it. I watched it again. And I'm like, this got me pumped. So I just have to say that was really great. And I know people were talking about it when they got there, and I was in the middle of RA training, so we were all talking about it. Like, you've seen the video. So it was just, I just thought that was really great, and I appreciate that a lot. So,
well, thank you. We can send the link to everybody so you all can see it. But I would just take a minute. We did that all in-house. So when we started to look at what we had individually, we had holes. We didn't have everybody that could do videography. We didn't have this kind of creative touch or that creative touch. But really early with integration, we saw together how strong of a team that we had in marketing, communications, and fundraising and alumni engagement. So we were excited. We know there's lots of bumps, but we have a great team and
great.
Piggyback off that, I want to thank you. You thanked us. I want to thank you for listening to student feedback. You know, it's not all the time that our feedback is not only heard and received, but also acted on. And that felt really good for us student leaders to see that the feedback we were given was used, especially with the diplomas and some of the marketing things. And I do hope students will like it. I think they will. I love the design. So, but thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. And thanks also to Dr. Dale and to Kelly, who really pushed to make sure that we included the student voice. But
question we always ask now, Jim, how do you ask the students?
Yes. I went to the store. My wife asked me if I asked John. But thank you for that. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Dr. Terrence Mitchell.
I can't believe I'm following Jim again. He's always a hard act to follow. I don't have a lot to talk to you about, but I want to talk to you about, I was sitting there thinking about, I have a script, and I said, don't do the script. Think about what you want to tell people. So this is what I want to tell you. At the beginning of the integration, there were lots of questions around the campuses about what was going to go on with DEI. My colleagues and I were all in solo offices working by ourselves with maybe 1 or 2 work study students, some clerical support. But really, kind of in the trenches trying to do the work by ourselves. So right away, we recognized that we were all at a table with other people who had expertise. You know, my colleagues have more experience in posture than I do, 20 and 30 years of experience. So we said, this is something special. When we read the first integration report, I remember saying to Dr. Dale, that report is full of so many things that we already do and so many aspirations that people have. I think we're going to have a pretty sensational DEI effort. And what we're beginning to see are the seeds of those efforts. You know, the students talked about the excitement at the student events, but I've been at events with faculty, staff, and students where I've seen excitement. And of course, like the professor was talking about earlier, there's also a lot of concerns, but they're working together. This year, for the first time, I haven't had to plan anything. I've just gone to things that other people are planning and provide support and financial information for things. I haven't been on any committees or anything like that. And it's freeing me up to have a lot of great ideas and also to tap into other people's ideas. So what I brought forward to you was one of the initiatives, but it's several initiatives. I could fill pages, but I always have like 2 minutes left at the end. So I want to make sure I don't, expand on my 2 minutes too much. And I talk too much to you. So the thing I've been most excited about for this fall is the launch of the Presidential Leadership Fellows. So we have six fellows who are faculty and staff, and we have 3 fellows who are students. And if you have the sheet in front of you, I don't feel like I need to read them, but what's important is we picked 3 of the very best students who graduated from last year's class on each campus and made them presidential fellows. Immediately, we got recognition from the students. They all knew their peers, and they're all excited about it. We didn't know this, but they become ambassadors for Penn West, and it's unintentional ambassadors. They've gone to events for us, and they're working within the communities that they return to and really spreading that word about how great diverse work is going to be. Amongst the 6 employees, we have Justin James and Dr. Michelle Torregano from Cal, 2 of the most well-respected people on campus who are also going to work as presidential fellows. We have I'm sorry, my glasses are weird today. Ambrina Sadiq and Isaac Leonard from Clarion. They're both outstanding people and doing really good work on their campuses. Dr. Stephanie Diaz-Morel and Dr. Sheila Lorenzo de la Pena. Together, they're going to work and do summer academies across the 3 campuses where we introduce Penn West to students between the 5th and 8th grade. And we're going to do like 20 to 25 students each summer and have those students come back each summer. And in 3 or 4 years, we should see them enroll in Penn West and also spread the word about how wonderful the work is we're doing there. That's an exciting project for my staff to be involved in. It's also an exciting project to go out and talk to the community about. At the state level, we're very serious about making sure that the state effort is successful also, because the better they do with their DEI work, the better we are able to translate to our campus. So Shalita, Rogers, and myself serve on several committees with the state, way too many, because we're always busy with them. But they also have done some really critical data research that they've done some really critical data analysis around the campus climates and critical data analysis around the inclusive community assessment teams. Those teams are meant to help our students, faculty and staff, know that they can work together to solve conflict without it being a pressure situation or without there being stress around it. Roger Legan leads that for us. The conversations are wonderful. They do a good job at that. And the students, the faculty and staff know that they can depend on that program. We didn't get included in the first audit because they felt like Penn West was new, but we could have done the audit. We would have done really well with the audit. We do really well with that program. And then with the campus climate study, Dr. Dale, you don't know this because I just learned this in the meeting last week. As chief diversity officers, we have some concerns about the way the climate study was initiated. For Penn West, the timing of this climate study, we have a lot of people who had a lot of ideas and things that they were frustrated around that went into the climate study. We don't know that it's a true assessment of what the Penn West climate is, but all the CDOs across the whole system feel that way. So it does give us at least a base of data to work with, but we anticipate within 2 or 3 years, we'll see improved numbers in all those studies too. So when you see that information come out, don't be too alarmed because all the CDOs are on top of it. And I'm going to do an analysis for you that'll be available at the end of the year. But I really want to work with that team and see what we're going to do. Tomorrow, we all meet together and we're going to have a long CDO meeting where we express all of our concerns around this study, including the actual instrument itself and the company that we work with. So we're doing really good work. We're doing deeper work than I've done in a long time in my career. I'm very much enjoying it, but that's what I wanted to bring to you today. Do you have any questions at all?
You have a question? It was a comment, so if you have a question first. Okay. Dr. Terrence, you also organized the first DEI event. I was just reading in here and I just wanted to share with everyone how great that was. So it was the first DEI student leadership across all of Penn West, and it was hosted at Edinburgh, and I got the opportunity to go up there, and that was my first time at Edinburgh, and it was during the Highland Games. And I know John was working the Highland Games, and I did not bring a kill. I don't have a kill. They had they were selling kills at the Highland Games though, but that was just a great thing. I haven't been to Clarion yet, but going up to Edinburgh and like going to that event, meeting all the different student leaders who are involved with DEI there, that was a really great experience. And then also going out to see Edinburgh's environment and their campus. You know, I'm not used to Highland Games. I didn't know what that was. So we went out there and we just saw them blowing the bagpipes, and it was just amazing. And they had food trucks and everything out there. And it was a great experience. So I just want to thank you for doing that and everything that your office does. So
I want to thank you so much. We had all 3 student presidents there from all 3 campuses, and it was incredible. We had students with disabilities, getting lesbian students. One young woman said, "Terrence, I don't know if I fit in a box." I said, "That's why you should be here, because you don't know what your box is." But we had a great event. It was our keynote speaker was Venus Ricks, who is the director of diversity for the state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and she was free. You know, so met all my requirements. But she was outstanding. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. University affairs is the next item on our agenda. Kelly?
Yep. Okay, so university affairs is focused this year and for the next couple of years on our people and culture. I think you heard in the public comments from the faculty senate and the other reports, we're tired. We had 2 years of COVID, and then in the middle of COVID, let's integrate. I can't think of any person in this room who has not worked around the clock for the last 2 years. So we know we need to work on that to bring together our 3 campuses. And we're really committed this year to empowering and investing in our people and providing a supportive environment where people can thrive. And we have a lot of work to do. So we are working to create new task force and committees so that every voice is heard on campus, and also getting all different backgrounds on these committees, students, faculty, staff, trustees, very similar to how we did the integration work with the committees that you guys helped us, which is why we have 3 students now on our trustees instead of just 1. So the first thing that we are working on is the university assembly. And this was just such great work with the faculty and staff. We were asked in the spring to come up with a shared governance model in 6 months. And if you're familiar with the system, that is a heavy lift, and we did it. And we did it because we listened and we let the faculty and staff design the model. So the shared governance model basically is stakeholders from students, faculty, and staff. And we meet monthly during the academic year, and we're very active in the policy development for Penn West. And so they'll make recommendations. We'll still have the bargaining groups and faculty senate, but these can make recommendations to the president and other groups on policies or issues that the campus feels are important. Next slide. And the next slide, when it comes up, you'll see it is a very diverse group of individuals on here. We're very intentional that the officers will not be administrators. We will have a student, a staff member, and a faculty member as the officers, and that will rotate every couple years. One of the things we heard was that 1 year as an officer, even 2 years isn't enough time. You kind of get into the swing of things, and then you switch off. So they asked if they could have 3-year terms. We also thought it was really important to have students as officers as well. So they'll be serving in the secretary position. We had our first meeting last month. We're kind of learning the ropes and feeling out what's going to be the right flow of the meetings, but we got really positive feedback from it. And the other thing I want to mention is that we're letting these groups determine the length of the term of their memberships. We don't want administration telling them how long to appoint the people who are serving here. So each group there, they will work with their colleagues and they'll determine how long they'll serve on the assembly. Next slide.
Kelly, before you do that, go back to that slide. So I just want to make sure that I heard you when you were talking about officers. They're officers of that committee, or did you say that they can't be officers of their union?
They are officers of the committee. So we are rotating. So the first round, a member
of Abscuff or faculty member will be the chair, and the vice chair will be a staff member. And then in the next round of officers, it'll flip. And then we'll have a staff member be the chair, and then a faculty member be the vice chair. And the student will always serve as the secretary, just because of their time constraints. We thought that would be the best position.
But they are not necessarily the officers of.
No. And I'll just
They're
note that
local.
it really wasn't the officers. They actually nominated different members to serve on here. It's a very unique group. You know, you kind of have the normal people you see volunteer for every committee, and that's not the case with this group. We really have some folks that maybe don't always participate in everything that have a voice now on the assembly.
That was really the heart of my question. Thank you.
So the Leadership Council, you know, the University Assembly really focuses on everyone, but we're hearing from our mid-level managers that they weren't getting all the information they needed. And if they're like me, you're getting a lot of emails from communications, Jim, and maybe you just didn't read them all. So we formed the Leadership Council. This is all of our academic deans and our administrative units, managers that oversee people. And we formed this council to share information. And we were actually intentional that most of the folks in this room are not on the Leadership Council, because we wanted this to be a forum where they felt comfortable sharing concerns or talking about information they're not receiving. And sometimes when your boss is on the meeting with you, maybe you don't want to bring that up. And so we're really using this as an information sharing body where they can bring up issues, talk about better ways to communicate, and make sure that we're kind of cross sharing information, not only from each campus, but from each division. All right, next slide. And the big one, People and Culture Task Force. So we're doing a complete reset of our culture at Penn West. We know we have a lot of work to do. We took 3 campuses that each had their own historic culture and missions and values, and we've asked everyone to come together, but it doesn't always go together just as you would like it to. So we're going to be doing a complete cultural audit the next year and meeting in very small groups of people across each campus and really just listening. And it's going to be difficult because we know that people are tired, they're worn out, they feel like they're not being listened to. And so it's kind of like the first step. You have to admit that you have a problem. We know we have a problem, and so we're going to fix it. We sent out an email last week, and I had 70 emails almost instantly of folks that wanted to join the task force. It was amazing. And so those emails are still coming in, and we're going to have our first meeting in the next couple weeks. And there's some very specific areas that we're going to be working on. Next slide. So we're going to be focused on the culture itself, wellness programming, and leadership development. And we're going to break off into different subcommittees, and we want to make sure that we have a good representation of people on each one of those committees. And we want our people to recommend the best practices. We want them to tell us what they want and what they need to have a healthier and better environment for everyone. So this will not be just a one-year thing. We're going to spend a year really diving deep, having hard conversations, collecting data, and then we're going to make an assessment and a plan on how to fix it for the long term. Any questions?
One of the goals when the chancellor charged us to study this a couple of years ago, or one of the parameters he kind of set, maybe parameters is the wrong word, but he said we were going to keep our culture.
Yes. So
now you're saying we're not going to keep our culture.
We will always be the Vulcans or the Eagles or whatever that we're going to still have the Highland Games. We're talking about how as an employee and a group of staff, we identify and work together to be collaborative. So the individual student piece and what makes each campus special, that's going to remain.
Okay.
This is really focused on the employees and how do we communicate across each campus and train and develop our folks and move them up.
It's really about investing in our people and redeploying resources. Like, we were talking before about chemical dependency or mental health issues, or we have so much talent at Penn West, but they don't always have the opportunity to move up the ladder or do the work that's most rewarding to them. The way we've analyzed some of our position assignments, they need to be asked, where they can do their best work. So that's a piece of changing the culture. Okay. And we have some contractual issues, but certainly communication doesn't have to stop because of that.
I think it's also looking at a much more micro level, because maybe what one academic department wants for development or for wellness is probably not going to be the same as athletics or another group. So it's not making a blanket way to develop folks or have workshops or trainings. it's really taking each piece of the puzzle and adapting it to meet the needs of those groups of people.
I understand it better now. It's work culture. It's not
Yeah.
campus culture.
Yes.
It's not the flavor of the heritage. Okay.
John can still keep his kilt. He'll have it.
Thank you.
Questions for Kelly?
I guess this is the appropriate time to ask this. I wanted just to mention, being in the public eye quite a bit in Washington, how you guys and gals, Dr. Dale, and your staff did a wonderful job on the name change. I mean, I hardly heard anything in the general public, and I'm not in the public a good bit, just living life. And I remember the time, some of you may remember when Cal U was going to change to another name about 10 or 15 years ago. There was almost a mutiny statewide, and this went without a hitch.
Well.
Wait a second. I should say, from my perspective, and hearing from alumni, and there's a lot of alumni in Southwestern Pennsylvania, I barely heard other than, well, what's going on? Can you explain to me?
The thing that I love about the name, and it does kind of grow on a person after a while, is that, I am so proud of being part of Western PA. I am proud of the grit. I am proud of the hard work, the ethic, the families, the way we all come together. And it's part of our culture. So I think that's why the name, Pennsylvania Western University unites us. But we are different. Kilts, Vulcan flame and our flying wings up. They're all different. But we do have some commonalities that really hold together. And after a while, people get used to the name.
But the people accepted it pretty well.
We probably should thank the Steelers a little bit for taking away our thunder because the conversation switched a little when they renamed the stadium. So I think Jim and a lot of us were thankful that.
I think part of it, I think there were a lot of people who didn't like the idea of immigration.
No.
And that was several months ago. But by the time they realized it was happening, when the name came out, there wasn't the same turmoil as 5 or 6 months ago.
Well, I don't think it's my team. I think it's Jim's team. And really, they did the work.
Well, thank you.
And the input, and having the students pick. I mean, I love the flame, but they love the compass because it had the logos in it, and you know what? Now I love the compass because they picked. So,
Yeah, I mean, again, thank you to the Chris Kendall at the time, Angie Burrows, a great team.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Well, any new business?
Feels like it's all been new business.
I guess it should have been old business.
Well, then do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
So moved. Second.
On the road.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody's hearing that.
Thank you.
Thank you.